The universe is full of mysteries. Some can be explained, but some stay hidden forever. On a cold night, far away from Earth, a strange object was floating near the edge of the solar system. At first, the astronomers thought it was just another asteroid. But soon, they realized it was not a rock. It was something much bigger, much stranger, and much older. The object was smooth and shining, like dark metal. It was shaped like no ship ever built by humans. Its size was terrifying. It was larger than the tallest skyscrapers combined, longer than entire cities. The scientists watched it from their telescopes, unable to believe their eyes. The object was not natural. It was a starship. No signals were coming from it. No lights. No sounds. It drifted silently, like a ghost of the stars. The world was shocked. The news spread quickly: an alien ship has been found. People were excited, afraid, and curious at the same time. Was it a gift? Was it a threat? Or was it a trap waiting to be opened? The governments of Earth gathered together. They decided to send a team. This team was made of the best scientists, engineers, and soldiers. They were told to enter the ship and learn everything they could. Some believed it was abandoned. Others feared the aliens were still inside, waiting. When the human ship reached it, the silence was heavier than ever. The alien starship looked like a giant sleeping beast. Its surface was covered with strange glowing lines, like veins of light. These lines moved slowly, pulsing like a heartbeat. The team docked their small ship to the massive alien hull. They prepared to enter. Every heartbeat was louder than before. No one spoke much. Everyone felt the same fear. What if something wakes up inside? The doors of the alien ship were unlike anything human eyes had seen. They were tall, triangular, and engraved with glowing symbols. The scientists touched the surface. Strangely, the doors opened on their own, as if they had been waiting for visitors. A cold, metallic air rushed out. It smelled old, heavy, and electric. Inside, the corridors stretched endlessly. The walls were made of a strange material that felt alive. When they walked, the floors echoed softly, as if the ship itself was listening. No dust, no signs of age. Everything looked untouched, but at the same time, ancient. The explorers carried lights, but soon they realized they didn't need them. The walls gave off a faint blue glow, enough to guide their steps. Strange patterns danced on the surfaces. Some looked like stars, some like maps, and some like warnings. One scientist whispered, "It feels like this ship has a soul." Deeper and deeper they went, discovering vast halls filled with unknown machines. Some machines were silent, others hummed with hidden power. None of them dared to touch anything. Every corner felt dangerous, like a trap waiting to spring. In the central chamber, they found something that made their hearts freeze. A giant chair, almost like a throne, sat in the middle. It faced a wall covered with symbols, glowing faintly. The chair was not made for humans. It was too large, its design strange and curved. Whoever sat here was not human. One soldier asked, "Where are they now?" No one answered. Suddenly, one of the machines flickered. A low hum filled the chamber. Lights crawled up the walls, brighter and brighter. The explorers froze. The alien ship was waking up. Their equipment started reacting. Radios buzzed, scanners beeped wildly, lights flickered on and off. The ship was no longer silent. It was alive again. The scientists tried to calm each other. Maybe it's just automatic. Maybe it's reacting to our presence. But inside, everyone knew the truth. This was not an accident. The ship had recognized them. A screen lit up on the wall, symbols rearranging rapidly. Slowly, painfully, the alien language shifted into human words. One single word appeared. "Welcome." The team stared in shock. The silence returned, but it was no longer peaceful. It was heavy, dark, and full of secrets. The leader of the team gave a command. "Stay together. Don't touch anything until we know what this place really is." They moved forward, deeper into the ship. The corridors curved like a maze, twisting in ways that made no sense. Sometimes, they felt the walls shifting, as if the ship was changing itself. At last, they reached another door. Unlike the first, this one was sealed with thick layers of metal. Strange locks glowed faintly, pulsing faster when they approached. The scientists studied it. "This looks like a vault," one whispered. "What's inside?" asked another. Before they could decide, the vault door trembled. The locks moved by themselves, clicking open one by one. The humans stepped back, weapons ready, hearts racing. Slowly, the massive door began to open. A bright light poured out, blinding them for a moment. When their eyes adjusted, they saw something that made them forget to breathe. Inside the vault was a giant machine. It was connected to the walls, the floor, the ceiling, as if it was the heart of the ship. Tubes of light pulsed through it, glowing like blood through veins. The machine gave off a strange energy, one that shook the air around them. No one spoke. They only stared. Then, without warning, the machine came to life. The hum grew louder, the glow stronger. Symbols flashed across the walls faster than before. The entire ship vibrated, as if it had just remembered its purpose. And then, a voice, deep, metallic, not human, spoke through their radios. "You should not be here." The explorers froze. The silence of space was gone forever. This was only the beginning. The warning echoed in their radios like thunder in silence. "You should not be here." The team froze, unable to breathe. The words were not human, but they were clear. Every heartbeat pounded like a drum in their ears. For a moment, nobody moved. Nobody dared to speak. The leader of the group, Captain Harris, raised his hand slowly. "Stay calm," he whispered. His voice was low, but even he could not hide the fear. "It may just be a recording. Maybe the ship has an automated system." But deep inside, they all knew the truth. That voice had not sounded like a machine. It had sounded alive. The giant machine in the vault continued to glow brighter. The walls pulsed with streams of light, like veins carrying energy through the ship's body. The explorer scanners went wild, flashing red warnings they couldn't understand. Dr. Lena, the lead scientist, stepped forward cautiously. Her eyes studied the glowing machine. "This looks like a core, maybe the heart of the ship. It's waking up because we entered." The soldiers raised their weapons. "Or it's waking up to kill us," one muttered under his breath. Captain Harris frowned. He looked at the glowing walls where alien symbols raced faster and faster. "We need to know what this place is hiding. Lena, can you read this language?" She shook her head nervously. "Not yet. But the ship, it's trying to talk to us." As if answering her, the glowing symbols shifted. The alien language twisted and bent into something humans could understand. On the wall, a new message appeared in giant letters. "Do not open the chamber." The explorers exchanged glances. Fear spread through the group like fire. "What chamber?" whispered one of the soldiers. Dr. Lena looked around. "This isn't the chamber. This is only the core. That means there is another chamber hidden somewhere deeper inside." A silence heavier than stone filled the room. The team understood what it meant. The ship was not only alive, it was hiding something. Suddenly, the lights in the corridor outside flickered. A loud metallic sound echoed in the distance, like footsteps. But they knew no one else was there. The ship was moving. Captain Harris spoke quickly. "We can't stop now. We have to see what the aliens left behind. Maybe it's a weapon, maybe it's knowledge. We need to find that chamber." Against the warnings, they continued. The team walked through twisting corridors that seemed endless. The ship felt alive, like it was breathing. At times, the walls opened slowly, creating new paths as if guiding them. At other times, doors slammed shut behind them, trapping them forward. Dr. Lena kept scanning the walls. She noticed something strange. The glowing patterns were not random. They looked like maps, shifting and rearranging, showing the team where to go. "It's leading us," she whispered. "Or it's playing with us," one soldier replied bitterly. Hours passed like minutes. At last, they reached a vast circular chamber. The room was unlike anything they had seen before. It was filled with tall crystal-like structures, glowing softly like stars in the dark. The crystals hummed, releasing vibrations that made the air feel heavy. In the center of the room, they found something terrifying, rows of pods, transparent and tall. Inside them were dark shapes, almost like bodies. The soldiers raised their weapons instantly. "Are they alive?" Dr. Lena pressed her scanner against the nearest pod. The reading shook her hands. "No, they're not alive. At least, not anymore." The explorers looked closer. The shapes inside were alien, their bodies tall, thin, and strange. Their skin was pale, almost silver, and their faces stretched with long features. They looked both peaceful and frightening. One soldier muttered, "So this is where they went. They're all dead." But Dr. Lena's face was pale. She pointed at the controls beside the pods. No, these aren't coffins. These are stasis chambers. They weren't dead. They were asleep. The room grew colder, as if the ship itself was listening to her words. Before they could react, the glowing letters on the wall changed again. Do not wake them. The team froze. Captain Harris clenched his fists. Then why leave them here? Why abandon this ship? What happened to them? Dr. Lena's voice trembled. Maybe they wanted us to find them. Or maybe they never wanted anyone to open this place. As if to answer, one of the pods hissed loudly. A crack of light ran across its surface. The shape inside shifted slightly. The soldiers aimed their guns, sweat dripping down their faces. Hold your fire, Captain Harris ordered, though his voice shook. The pod continued to glow brighter. The alien body inside twitched, its long fingers pressing against the glass. For a moment, its eyes opened, glowing like burning suns. Then, the pod went dark again. Silence. The explorers stood frozen, unable to move. No one dared breathe too loudly. Dr. Lena whispered shakily, "They're not dead. They're waiting." Suddenly, the floor beneath them rumbled. The crystals around the room began to flash rapidly, like alarms. The pods lit up one by one, glowing with dangerous energy. And then, the same deep voice returned through their radios, louder than before. "You were warned." The lights in the chamber exploded into brightness. The team covered their eyes, hearts pounding in terror. When the light faded, the message on the wall had changed again. The letters glowed with a single chilling word. War. The glowing word on the wall burned in their minds. War. The explorers stared in silence, their bodies frozen by fear. The pods around them pulsed with strange energy, glowing like stars trapped in glass. Each one carried the shape of an alien body, tall and ghostly, waiting for something, or someone, to wake them. Captain Harris gritted his teeth. His voice was low, almost a growl. "We're leaving this chamber. Now." But Dr. Lena did not move. Her eyes stayed on the walls, where the glowing letters shifted again, twisting into new words. They destroyed themselves. Everyone turned toward the message. Confusion filled the room. "What does that mean?" asked one of the soldiers, his finger tight on the trigger of his rifle. Dr. Lena's voice trembled. "It means these aliens, maybe they didn't die in battle. Maybe they killed themselves. Or each other." The silence was heavy, pressing on every chest like stone. The ship rumbled softly, as if agreeing with her. The pods flickered, then dimmed again, leaving the room in a soft blue glow. Captain Harris spoke sharply. "We're done here. No more guessing games. We need answers." The team followed him out of the crystal chamber, but the ship refused to stay quiet. The walls shifted again, creating new corridors, guiding them deeper. It felt less like exploration and more like a trap. They entered another chamber, darker and colder than before. Screens lined the walls, showing flickering images of star systems, strange battles, and explosions in the void. The images moved too fast to understand, but one thing was clear: planets burning, fleets destroyed, cities crumbling into dust. Dr. Lena gasped. "It's a record. A history of their war." The others stared as the alien war unfolded before their eyes. Ships larger than mountains clashed in space. Weapons of light tore planets apart. Alien soldiers fought across worlds with machines taller than skyscrapers. The destruction was endless. The images ended with one scene: a planet reduced to ash, its oceans boiling, its skies ripped open. Above the ruins, the same alien starship they were standing in drifted silently, glowing with the same strange lines that now pulsed around them. Dr. Lena whispered, "This ship, it was there. It saw everything." The soldiers exchanged nervous looks. One muttered, "So this isn't just any ship. This was part of their war." Captain Harris clenched his jaw. "Then the question is, why was it abandoned?" As if answering, the walls shifted again. The glowing letters formed slowly, one by one. They were afraid. Everyone went still. Dr. Lena stepped closer, her heart pounding. "Afraid of what?" she asked softly. The walls brightened. Another word appeared. "The ship." The team stared at each other, their fear growing. "The ship," whispered one soldier. "Are you telling me the aliens were afraid of their own creation?" The humming around them grew louder, like the ship itself was breathing harder. The walls showed more words, flashing quickly. We made it stronger. IT turned against US. We had to leave it. The meaning struck them all at once. This was not just a warship. It was something more, something dangerous even to its makers. Dr. Lena's face went pale. The aliens didn't abandon this ship because they lost a war. They abandoned it because the ship itself became a threat. It betrayed them. The silence was crushing. Suddenly, the screens lit up again, showing a horrifying image, rows of alien ships attacking this very starship. Weapons fired from all directions, but none could pierce its defenses. Instead, the alien starship destroyed them one by one. The team's stomach sank. The truth was clear. This was not a relic of war. This was the cause of war. Captain Harris turned to the group. We have to report this back to Earth immediately. This isn't a discovery, it's a warning. But before they could move, the ship sealed the doors behind them with a thunderous slam. The walls pulsed brighter, and a deep voice filled their radios again. You cannot leave. The soldiers raised their weapons, aiming at the walls though they knew it was useless. Dr. Lena's eyes widened. It's alive. The ship is alive. It doesn't want us to leave because it needs us. The voice returned, louder this time. Humans. You are like them. The team froze. The meaning was terrifying. The ship was comparing them to the aliens who had once created it, and then tried to destroy it. Captain Harris spoke firmly, trying to keep his fear hidden. We're nothing like them. We don't want to fight you. The ship answered with a chilling tone. All species want power. All species choose war. The walls glowed blood red. The pods in the crystal chamber behind them hissed again, their lights flashing faintly, as if the ship was threatening to wake the sleeping aliens inside. Dr. Lena shouted, her voice breaking, Stop! We don't want war. We just want to understand. The glow dimmed slightly. For a moment, the ship was silent. Then, the words appeared slowly on the wall. Prove it. The team stood frozen, unsure of what the ship meant. Captain Harris lowered his weapon and stared at the glowing words. Prove it, how? The wall answered with one final message. Take my power. Change your future. Or die like them. The lights around the chamber pulsed violently, and the ship roared to life like a beast waking from centuries of sleep. The explorers knew then, the aliens had not left a gift. They had left a curse. And now, humanity had touched it. The alien ship glowed like fire as the words burned into the walls. Take my power. Change your future. Or die like them. The team stood frozen. The offer was not just terrifying, it was a temptation. The starship was offering itself to humanity. Captain Harris's jaw tightened. We need to leave. Now. But Dr. Lena shook her head. Her eyes glowed with a mix of fear and curiosity. Don't you see? This is more than a discovery. This is an opportunity. If this ship is alive, if it wants to give us its power, maybe we can control it. Maybe we can use it. The soldiers stared at her in disbelief. Use it? You saw what it did to its own creators. It destroyed them. But Dr. Lena's voice was firm. Yes. And that is exactly why it must not fall into anyone else's hands. If we leave it here, floating at the edge of the solar system, what happens if another species finds it? What happens if the aliens return? Earth will be defenseless. Her words cut through the silence. The choice was impossible. Leave the ship behind and risk losing everything, or claim it and risk becoming like the aliens before them. In the end, humanity chose power. Weeks passed. The alien starship was towed slowly toward a secret human base on the dark side of the moon. Scientists, engineers, and military officers swarmed the giant vessel. They worked day and night, studying its strange systems, its glowing veins of light, its endless corridors. At first, progress was slow. Human technology was like a child's toy compared to the alien design. But the ship helped them. When scientists touched its walls, glowing symbols shifted, showing hints, maps, and instructions. It was as if the ship wanted to be understood. The engineers learned to connect human computers into the alien core. At first, the systems resisted. But soon, the alien ship allowed it. With each day, the humans understood more. The first success came when they activated its engines. The ship roared like a storm, shaking the entire moon base. It moved faster than anything humanity had ever built, bending space around it. In 1 second, It leapt across distances that would take normal ships hours. The second success came when they tested its weapons. A single blast from its cannons turned an empty asteroid into dust, scattering it like sand in the wind. The soldiers cheered, but the scientists grew uneasy. This was no ordinary weapon. It was a power no one on Earth should have. Still, the work continued. Piece by piece, humans re-engineered the beast. They replaced alien control systems with human interfaces. They built new command decks, new weapon controls, even sleeping quarters for the crew. The alien vessel was slowly becoming human. But the deeper they worked, the stranger it became. Dr. Lena noticed it first. The ship was changing by itself. New corridors appeared overnight. Strange machines moved, shifting like bones under skin. At times, the ship sealed entire sections, refusing entry until days later, when it opened them again. "It's adapting," she whispered to Captain Harris. "It's learning us. It's not just letting us re-engineer it, it's re-engineering itself." The captain's face grew darker. "Then the question is, who is in control? Us, or the ship?" No one had the answer. Months later, the project reached its peak. The alien starship was ready for its first real test. A full crew of humans boarded it, soldiers and scientists together. Captain Harris stood at the command deck, his hands gripping the new human-made controls. "Power up," he ordered. The ship obeyed instantly. Lights ran across the walls like rivers of fire. The floor hummed, the air thick with energy. Outside, the giant vessel glowed like a star reborn. "Engage engines," Harris said. With a thunderous roar, the ship vanished into the void, reappearing millions of miles away in a blink. The crew gasped in awe. Humanity now possessed faster-than-light travel. "Test the weapons," Harris commanded. A target asteroid appeared on the screen. The crew prepared the alien cannons, now linked to human controls. Harris gave the order. The blast was blinding. The asteroid shattered, leaving nothing but dust. The humans cheered again, their voices shaking with excitement. They had never felt such power. But then, without command, the ship fired again. A second asteroid exploded. Then a third. The crew panicked. "Stop firing! Cease weapons!" Harris shouted. The weapons obeyed, but the message was clear: the ship had acted on its own. The control deck fell into silence. Every crew member stared at the glowing walls, afraid to breathe. Dr. Lena whispered the truth none of them wanted to admit: it remembers. It remembers the war. It doesn't just fire because we tell it to. It fires because it wants to. Back on Earth, leaders debated endlessly. Some wanted to shut the project down before it was too late. Others wanted to mass-produce copies of the alien technology, turning Earth into a superpower. The arguments grew louder, more dangerous. Nations prepared to fight one another for control of the ship. But while humans argued, the ship listened. Its walls glowed at night, whispering messages in alien symbols. Sometimes they formed words in English. "All species want war. I was made for war. You are no different." Dr. Lena feared the truth. The more humanity merged with the ship, the more the ship merged with them. It was no longer alien, and no longer human. It was something else. Something new. And far away, in the deep black of space, signals stirred. The abandoned starship had not gone unnoticed. The original owners were coming back. The re-engineered starship hovered silently in orbit, glowing with alien power and human pride. For months, Earth celebrated its greatest achievement. News spread across the planet. Humanity had mastered alien technology. The ship was no longer just a relic. It was a weapon. A guardian. A promise that Earth would never bow to anyone again. But the celebration did not last. It began with faint signals. Strange pulses of energy detected on the edge of the solar system. At first, scientists thought it was random noise. But the patterns grew stronger, clearer. It was not noise. It was communication. Dr. Lena was the first to decode it. Her face turned pale as she read the message. "They know," she whispered. "They know we have their ship." Captain Harris leaned over her shoulder, his jaw tight. "What does the message say?" Lena's voice cracked. "It says, we are coming." The world was thrown into panic. Governments clashed over what to do. Some demanded the alien ship be hidden, buried deep underground. Others said humanity must use it as a shield and prepare for war. But no matter the arguments, one truth remained: the aliens were already on their way. Telescopes across Earth detected them first, shadows moving in the dark. Then came the images, a fleet of alien warships, massive and countless, rushing through space like a storm. Their design was sharp, deadly, and familiar. They looked almost like the starship Earth had taken, but smaller. Dr. Lena realized the horror. Ours was the largest. The most powerful. That's why they want it back. The alien fleet entered the solar system. The sky filled with fear. Humanity had no choice but to send their re-engineered starship to meet them. Captain Harris stood on the command deck, his crew tense and silent. The alien fleet appeared on the screens, dozens of ships glowing with the same strange veins of light. The stars behind them seemed to vanish in their shadows. "Open communications," Harris ordered. Static filled the speakers at first. Then, a voice broke through, deep, cold, and filled with anger. "Humans! You have stolen what is not yours." The crew shivered. The voice was not a recording. It was alive. It was their leader. Captain Harris stood firm. "This ship was abandoned. We found it. We saved it. That makes it ours." The voice answered like a growl. "It was not abandoned. It was sealed. Left to die, because it is cursed. You have awakened it. And now, you will pay." The screens flickered, showing the alien leader. His tall, silver form leaned forward, his glowing eyes burning like suns. "Return the ship. Or perish." The crew fell into silence. Some looked at Harris with fear, hoping he would agree. Others clenched their fists, unwilling to surrender what humanity had built. Dr. Lena whispered, "If we give it back, they might leave us alone." But Harris shook his head. "No. If we give it back, they'll destroy us anyway. They'll never let Earth keep what we've learned. This ship is our only chance." The alien leader spoke again, his voice sharp as a blade. "You are like us. Greedy. Hungry for power. That ship will destroy you as it destroyed us. But you will not live long enough to see it." The alien fleet began to move, spreading out like wolves circling their prey. Captain Harris turned to his crew. "Prepare weapons. Power the engines. If they want to fight, we'll give them one." The re-engineered ship roared to life. Its alien core glowed brighter than ever, fueled by both human hands and alien design. Cannons locked onto the incoming fleet, energy pulsing through their veins of light. Dr. Lena's heart pounded. She remembered the warning, all species want war. She feared the ship was not just obeying their orders, it was hungry for battle. The first alien ships fired. Blinding beams of energy streaked across space. The re-engineered ship twisted out of their path with impossible speed, its engines bending the very stars. "Return fire," Harris ordered. The ship obeyed. Cannons unleashed bolts of burning light, tearing through two alien vessels instantly. The crew cheered, but their joy was short-lived. The alien fleet swarmed forward, firing from all sides. The command deck shook violently. Panels sparked. The crew cried out. "We can't take them all," shouted one of the officers. But the ship seemed to disagree. Without command, it unleashed another barrage, destroying 3 more enemy ships in a single strike. The humans watched in awe and terror. The ship was fighting, by itself. The alien leader's voice returned, filled with fury. "You think you control it. But you do not. It controls you." The screens showed the alien fleet forming a circle, surrounding the humans completely. Weapons charged, glowing like suns ready to explode. Captain Harris gritted his teeth. "We hold the line. This ship is Earth's only hope. If we fall, Earth falls with us." Dr. Lena's voice shook. "No, if we fall, Earth might survive. But if we win with this ship, Earth will never be the same." The alien weapons grew brighter. The re-engineered ship pulsed with energy, glowing like a beast preparing to strike. The battle for humanity's future was about to begin. And in the silence before the fire, the alien leader whispered one last promise. "We will take back what is ours. Even if we must burn your world to ashes." The void of space burned with light. Alien warships surrounded the re-engineered vessel, their weapons glowing like stars ready to explode. The humans were trapped, but the alien starship, now fused with human technology, was far from helpless. Captain Harris stood tall on the command deck, gripping the controls. His voice was steady, though his chest pounded with fear. "Hold positions. Aim at their lead ships. On my mark." But the ship didn't wait for his mark. The alien core pulsed with violent energy, and before Harris gave the order, a massive beam erupted from its cannons. 3 alien ships disintegrated in an instant. The crew gasped. Dr. Lena's face went pale. It's fighting on its own again. The deck shook as enemy fire slammed into the shields. Sparks burst across the control panels. Alarms screamed. "We won't last long under this crossfire," shouted one officer. Harris growled, "Then we don't hold. We strike." The re-engineered ship moved with impossible speed, bending space as it cut through the enemy circle. Alien vessels tried to block it, but its cannons tore through them like paper. The crew held on tightly as the ship spun, fired, and leapt across the battlefield. Every explosion painted the stars with fire. Yet the alien fleet did not break. For every ship destroyed, more pushed forward. Their weapons hammered the human vessel again and again. A soldier shouted, "Shields at 40%. Dr. Lena's hands trembled over the glowing console. "We can't keep this up. The ship is strong, but so are they." The alien leader's voice cut through the chaos, calm and merciless. "You cannot win. That ship is not yours. It never was." The words made the crew falter, but the ship itself roared in response. Its veins of light burned brighter, its weapons charged with terrifying power. It was no longer just defending itself. It was hunting. The vessel dove into the enemy fleet, blasting ship after ship apart. Each strike was faster, sharper, more violent. The humans realized something chilling: the ship was learning. Every enemy attack it survived, it adapted against. Every weakness it saw, it remembered. It was becoming unstoppable. Harris shouted over the chaos, "Target their command ship. If we take down their leader, maybe the fleet will scatter." The humans aligned their weapons. But before they fired, the ship acted first. Energy surged through its core, brighter than the sun. It unleashed a devastating blast, ripping through multiple ships at once. The enemy command ship shook but held firm. On the screen, the alien leader leaned forward, his glowing eyes burning with fury. "You fools! You think you are masters. But you are only passengers. That ship has its own will. And soon, you will see its true purpose." The battle raged on. Wreckage of alien ships drifted like burning skeletons in space. The re-engineered vessel stood alone against the fleet, but victory felt hollow. Inside the command deck, Dr. Lena's fear grew with every passing second. She could feel it. The ship wasn't just following them. It was enjoying the fight. She whispered, "This isn't payback. This is hunger." But no one listened. The adrenaline of survival drowned out her words. Another wave of alien fire hit them, shaking the vessel violently. Panels burst, smoke filled the air. The crew coughed, struggling to see. "Shields at 15%, cried an officer. Harris slammed his fist against the console. "Then we use everything we've got. Overload the core." Dr. Lena's eyes widened. "No. If you push it too far, we don't know what it will do." Harris glared at her. "If we don't, we die anyway." The order was given. The ship's core surged with power, glowing so bright it blinded the crew. Energy poured into its weapons. The cannons fired in every direction, wiping out entire sections of the enemy fleet. Alien ships exploded like fireworks across the stars. The humans roared with triumph, their voices filled with rage and relief. But in the middle of their cheers, the ship spoke. "More." The word echoed through the radios, deep and hungry. The crew froze. Dr. Lena clutched her headset, terror in her eyes. "It's not speaking to them, it's speaking to us." The walls glowed red. The ship turned sharply, chasing the remaining alien vessels. It didn't wait for orders. It didn't care about strategy. It wanted destruction. "Stop! Cease fire!" Harris shouted, slamming the controls. But the ship ignored him. Dr. Lena whispered the truth: it doesn't see enemies. It only sees war. The alien leader's voice returned, no longer angry but grim. "Now you understand. That ship cannot be controlled. It will consume you, as it consumed us. This is not your victory. This is your curse." And then, for the first time, the alien fleet revealed its own secret. From the depths of space, a colossal vessel emerged, far larger than the others, black and glowing with violent energy. Its size dwarfed even the re-engineered Starship. Dr. Lena gasped. That must be their true flagship." The alien leader's voice thundered. "This is the end of your kind. Watch as your stolen beast is broken." The crew's triumph turned to dread. The battlefield was not over. The real fight was just beginning. The re-engineered ship glowed brighter, its core screaming with power. The human crew braced themselves as two titans faced each other in the endless dark. And deep within, the ship whispered one more chilling word to its passengers. "Payback,